Hello and a very warm welcome to Landmark Case Analysis, which is presented to you by LawSeco. This is Ankita Parida here. Let's proceed with today's discussion on the landmark case Common Cause versus Union of India. This is a landmark judgment given by the Honorable Supreme Court of India on 9th March 2018 by a five-judge bench. In this judgment, the Supreme Court upheld that right to live includes right to live with dignity and right to die with dignity. Also, this judgment upheld passive euthanasia as lawful in India. Moving ahead, let's have a look at the brief facts of this case. In this judgment, the petitioner, that is Common Cause, which is a registered society, approached the Supreme Court under Article 32, praying for declaration of right to die with dignity as a fundamental right under Article 21. Also, it pleaded to allow terminally ill patients to execute living wills and therefore allow passive euthanasia in India. Let's understand the word euthanasia. Euthanasia refers to the practice of intentionally ending the life and relieve pain and suffering. Generally, patients who are terminally ill and the doctor has declared that they have undergone permanent vegetative state, in that case, euthanasia or good death is applicable. There are basically two types of euthanasia or intentionally ending of life process, that is passive and active euthanasia. In passive euthanasia, there is no positive act done, but something is withdrawn to take away the life. For example, withdrawal of medical treatment or the life support from the person who is in a permanent vegetative state will lead to passive euthanasia. Whereas in active euthanasia, there is a positive action taken, for example, injection or overdose of medicine in order to hasten the death of the patient. And it is completely different from passive euthanasia. Therefore, passive euthanasia is considered morally superior to active euthanasia since it means allowing the patient to die and not killing him. The petitioner in 2005 had come up with its petition to Supreme Court regarding its prayer for right to die with dignity to be treated as a fundamental right under Article 21, and also it prayed the court to issue directions to the union government to allow terminally ill patients to execute living wills. Now let's understand about the living will. A living will is a document prescribing a person's wishes regarding medical treatment the person would want if he was able to share his wishes with the healthcare provider. For example, if a person has gone into a permanent vegetative state and the doctor has declared that all the organs of the body are not functional anymore and it is just alive with the support of the medical treatment and the life support, then in that case, if that person has already made his living will that he or she wants to continue with that or he wants to die, then this legal instrument, that is a living will come into play at that point of time and will determine if the person wants to end his life with dignity and does not want to be on life support forever. Sometimes, in the absence of a living will, the person who is in permanent vegetative state and is not able to exercise his will is subjected to variety of cruel treatments from the hospitals, from care workers, from the family members, etc. And in this case also, living will is very important where a person cannot share his wishes with regards to his treatment. Therefore, the petitioner argued that terminally ill person or those suffering from chronic diseases must not be subjected to cruel treatment. Therefore, denying them right to die in dignified manner extends their suffering. It prayed the court to secure right to die with dignity by allowing such person to make an informed choice through a living will. In this judgment, the Supreme Court referred to two important judgments with regards to euthanasia and life to die with dignity, that is, Aruna Ramchandra Shanbag versus Union of India and others case and Gyan Kaur versus State of Punjab case. Now let's see the judgment of the Supreme Court of India in the Aruna Ramchandra case. The Supreme Court in this case had recognized passive euthanasia in 2011 and had laid down elaborate procedures to execute the same. However, it said that considering the important question of law involved in this case, it should be referred to a constitutional bench. Secondly, the P. Ratinam versus Union of India and another case is important here as it has connection with the Gyan Kaur versus State of Punjab and also with regards to this case. In this case, the Supreme Court held that right to live must include right to die under Article 21. However, this was overturned in the Gyan Kaur versus State of Punjab where the Supreme Court held that right to life did not include right to die as understood under Article 21. However, the court held that euthanasia can be made lawful through legislation. Now let's have a look at the issues of law involved in this case. Whether Article 21 of the Constitution guarantees right to life includes the right to die. Secondly, can euthanasia be made lawful only by legislation? And third, can individuals be allowed to give advance directive, that is, directives on medical treatment if they become incompetent and unable to communicate in the future? Let's have a look at the judgment and reasoning given by the court. The Supreme Court held that the word life in Article 21 has been construed as life with human dignity. Therefore, it includes both right to live with dignity and right to die with dignity. Also, the court goes on to say that right to live with dignity also includes smoothing process of dying in case of a terminally ill patient or a person in a permanent vegetative state with no hope of recovery. Therefore, it recognized advance directive or living will in which a person of sound mind and who can communicate can give directions or indicate the process or the circumstances in which medical treatment can be withdrawn from him or her. Finally, the Supreme Court upheld passive euthanasia and it said that passive euthanasia can be introduced in India without legislation. Also, it gave elaborate procedure and safeguard for executing advance directive or living wills. Regarding the advance directives and the living will, we'll discuss in the upcoming videos. So this was all about this judgment. Thank you.